Hello, calculus students. Today we are going to change things up and we are going to do a food lab in order to explore how we are going to start finding the volume of solids that don't have nice, pretty formulas like we used in geometry. So in order to dive into this exploration, we are going to use the assistance of yummy Hostess cupcakes. So if you did go out and get your cupcakes, go ahead and get those out with a knife and a toothpick, and we are going to look at finding volume by using the disc method, which we will see later in the lab today. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to walk through the lab with you. You can watch, you can do a little bit of both, and hopefully we can have this stick in our mind as we then go to more complex problems that we see in our textbook here in a few days. So what food are we going to find the volume of today? Well, I just said we are using Hostess cupcakes. Okay, so we have this cupcake that we want to know what is the volume in cubic centimeters. Okay, so what you need to do if you have two cupcakes sitting in front of you, I'm going to slide them in front of me. Here they are. Okay, you need to label or decide which cupcake is food A and which cupcake is food B, because we're going to do different cuts in the cupcakes so that we can find different measurements. So make sure to keep that straight. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do on step 2 says, go ahead, take food A, cupcake A, and we are going to put a toothpick on the axis of revolution. So we're thinking kind of about symmetry here. And our axis of revolution is we are pretending about taking a two-dimensional shape and revolving it around an axis so that we can create a three-dimensional solid. Okay, now if you watch, I'm going to go ahead and stick the toothpick directly down the center of the cupcake. Okay, and you can even have it come out the back. So you can picture, okay, and see the symmetry that is taking place as I revolve the cupcake around my axis. All right, so that is cupcake A. Okay, now it says that we are going to take cupcake B, so I'm going to switch over here. And we are supposed to cut it in half from top to bottom so that both halves are congruent. Okay, well, if you look at the top of the cupcake, it is a circle. So we are just essentially taking our knife and we are going to make two semicircles. So I'm going to cut through the frosting. It doesn't really make a difference. This helps when you have kind of a sharper knife. Whoops, crumbling a little bit. Okay. So now as you can see, okay, we have two identical halves of the cupcake. Here's the inside, here's the top, and here is the bottom. Okay, now from this point, it says on part 3B that we are going to cut one of those halves into two congruent pieces by slicing from the top to the bottom so that we have 2/4 of the entire cupcake. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this guy aside. And I am going to get the crumbs away here. And we are going to slice this into 2/4. See if I can do this without crumbling. Okay, there we go. So now we have two identical quarters of the cupcake. I can show you there is the top. Okay, we see kind of like a sector. Here is the inside and here is the bottom. Okay, so now we are asked, what is the shape of the cross section? Okay, now it's hard to maybe see in the video, but if I hold this cross section up, okay, we see that the sides that my fingers are touching are parallel. Okay, but if you think about a cupcake, okay, even though it might look like a square, we are really seeing that this is a trapezoid, okay? Now to make that a little more clear, sorry, I have cupcakes here, there, and everywhere. Grab a tissue to wipe my hands on. Okay, now if you're getting confused and you're not quite seeing that, okay, I went ahead and made kind of the trapezoidal shape. So if we think about, sorry, I'm holding it a little off. Okay, if we think about it, this is the top of my cupcake. This is the bottom of my cupcake. And so if I maybe hold it like that, that might make a little bit more sense to you. You can see that we have a trapezoidal cross section. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to take some measurements of this cross section, and then we're going to put it on a graph. So even if you can't see it very well in the video, it's going to make a little bit more sense. Okay, so it says that it wants us to find the small radius, the large radius, and the height of the cupcake. Okay, well, we can use this one quarter of the cupcake because this right here is where the toothpick is sitting in our other cupcake. Okay, so if we are going to take measurements, you need your ruler. And to find the small radius, okay, we're thinking about, well, what circle, the top or the bottom, is bigger in a Hostess cupcake? Well, the top circle's bigger, so to find the small radius, we need to put our ruler at the bottom, and we need to measure that. And when I measure mine, okay, I get a measurement of 2.3 centimeters. So you can use that if you'd like, or I really encourage you to use your own. That would be cool. Okay, and then we need to find the large radius, which is the top of the cupcake. So I'm going to go ahead and measure here with my ruler. And when I measure, I get 2.8 centimeters. Okay, now if you're doing this alongside me at home, please make sure that your measurements are indeed different. Okay, I know that we're kind of cutting these ourselves, human error takes place, but make sure that your smaller radius truly is less than your bigger radius. Okay, now we need to find the height of the cupcake. Okay, so that is looking at from top to bottom. Okay, here's the half that I didn't cut into quarters. Or we can look at, between my two fingers, what is the height of this cupcake. So we are going to go ahead and measure that. And the height of my cupcake that I get is 4 centimeters. Okay, so yours might be different. Okay, that's totally okay if yours is not different, or if yours is different. It might be 3, it might be 3.5. Okay, we will just see from there. All right, so now we are going to be asked to go ahead and draw what is going on here. It says, sketch your food such that the axis of revolution is on or parallel to the x-axis. Okay, so we've established that we have a trapezoid, and with that trapezoid, let me find my x-axis. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, we have the x-axis right here. And when I look at my cross section, which was a trapezoid, this is the small radius. Okay, this is the large radius, the longer radius. What is right here? This is the height of my cupcake. This is where I stuck the toothpick through the cupcake, okay, to envision the revolution occurring. Now, if you look as I rotate around, I just made a full cupcake if you would be able to track every movement of the paper to create that solid of revolution. Okay, so you need to draw this trapezoid on your graph, and I will also provide a video where I walk through that, and then we'll go from there. Okay,